Hi, I'm Marty Morrison from Fireplaces and Fixins, here to talk to you about the 2008-2009 Geothermal Heat Pump Show here in high def, no less. Why is geothermal talked about more than any other heat source right now in the country? Because with the prices of fuel oil and propane, geothermal is 8 times cheaper. So that means if you buy about 1,000 gallons a year of either fuel oil or propane, you're going to spend $4,000 a year on heating costs. A geothermal heat pump will do that same job for about $500. So at that payback, you have a geothermal heat pump on new construction paid back in as short as 2 years, and on a retrofit, in other words, changing out your existing heating system, you could have your payback done in 4 to 5 years. It's just amazing the fuel savings because geothermal uses the Earth's stored energy and the cheapest fuel now available, and that's local coal-produced electricity, to provide heat at a much reduced rate from any other fossil fuel. Geothermal is really green. Take this 3,200 square foot house for example. At current oil prices at close to $4 a gallon for either propane or fuel oil, this house would cost over $3,500 a year to heat, where a geothermal unit can do the job for under $400. You heard me right, a geothermal can save $3,000 a year in heating costs. In this house, this was a retrofit, which means that there was an existing 1,400 square foot house here behind me with a new porch on the front, and they've added another 1,200 square foot off to the right. And it's a perfect setup to set the geothermal in the middle and have a 2-zone system. One trunk takes care of the old house, another trunk line takes care of the new addition. So you have one furnace, 2 thermostats. It's like having 2 furnaces in this house. With a geothermal or ground source heat pump, the ground or outside is where it all begins. And I'm standing outside of a home that we're just completing a 4-ton barred geothermal project in here in Wheeling. And I'm standing right over top of the second vertical well. Vertical well is where a drill comes in and drills holes. There was first hole here, second, third, and fourth right down this old driveway. And the ditch then runs in a semicircular fashion right in the house here between the 2 windows. 2 pipes then carry the water into the geothermal heat pump where the heat is extracted. In this case, the customer chose vertical wells over horizontal ditches because of the amount of space we have. If you're building new construction, or you have a much larger yard, we'll go horizontal ditches, which take up about 1/3 of a football field, so there's a lot more earth to recover, but it is $1,500 to $2,000 less money to do geothermal with ditches rather than wells. So it works equally well. Either is an alternative. This is a 4-ton barred geothermal just being installed in this house. We're about ready to start it up. You'll notice here a couple features. This is a zone board that controls where the heat goes, in this case, either in the left half of the house or the right half of the house. The flow center, or the pump mechanism, is mounted behind this furnace. This will take the groundwater and circulate it into the unit where the heat is extracted, or it's put into that. This is the filter box. Easily accessed. Slide the MERV 10 high efficiency filters out, inspect them and change them, slide them back in. So that's very easily done. I'm standing in front of the Bob Wilson home up here in Martins Ferry in Crawford Heights. And Bob has a tri-level house. He's got a basement, first floor and second floor, each 1,200 square feet for a total of 3,600 square feet. A year ago, we put a 5-ton barred geothermal heat pump in this house. And we did horizontal loops, dug ditches through the backyard to put the geo loop field back there. It was a little too steep to back a drilling rig in on this property. Bob dropped his electric bills off for the past year, and he had a budget totaling $109 a month. So if you figure that $70 a month was to run the household electric, meaning the hot water, refrigerator, and lights and computer and so forth, that means that Bob spent about $39 a month, or about $450 for the year, to heat and cool this house. If he'd have had a propane or an oil furnace, he'd have spent about $4,000 to do the same job at today's energy prices, at a savings of $3,500 a year in energy costs. So you can see why a geothermal heat pump is a great investment. In any case, the main thing that a ground source heat pump does is extracts the Earth's stored solar energy to heat your house in the winter, and we use it to dump heat from your house in the summer. We're in the office where a quote begins, and there are really two different ways that I can come up with a quote for geothermal to show you how much it would save you and whether or not it would be a worthwhile investment. The first would be if you have plans to build a new house and you have house plans like this here in front of me. I would take those house plans and measure walls and windows, and I would draw the house on the computer screen. And then I would enter the windows and the doors and the insulation factors and how the house faces, and let this software program calculate for me what your BTU requirements will be both for heating and cooling. That then tells me what size equipment we need to put in, and then I can calculate the duct and the so forth and make you a whole quote to do that. From the news desk here at Fireplaces and Fixins, as if you needed any other good reason to install a geothermal heat pump, besides it being the greenest and most efficient heat source you can put into your house, and that it creates all-American jobs from the time it's started until the time it's done, and all the energy that runs it, there's one more good reason. Congress has just enacted, through part of the Economic Recovery Package, a $2,000 tax credit on the installation of any geothermal heat pump meeting Energy Star requirements from January 1st of 2008 through the year 2016. Call us for more details about the $2,000 tax credit for the installation of a geothermal heat pump. When you get your customized home energy analysis on how a geothermal might save you money, you'll also get some customer testimonials. Just a few. Larry from Richmond, Ohio tells me he heats and cools his 3-ton house for under $350 a year. Troy from Powhatan Point says this is the best single investment he's made in his new home. You know, I've been in the business for a long time and talked to a lot of customers, and you know, people think that anything other than what they are heating with is cheaper. That's not necessarily true. Sometimes the age-old rules of heating still apply. Tighten up your house a little bit more, zone heat where possible, and get the cheapest heat source you have. But don't automatically assume that the newest fad is going to be cheaper than what you have. You know, I'm talking to more and more folks that are going to geothermal because they just consider it the environmentally responsible way to go. There's nothing more green than geothermal. 3 out of 4 of every BTUs come out of the earth. You're only buying 1 and getting 4, so it's a very responsible way to go. And we're using local electricity powered by local coal and not burning Mideast oil to accomplish our heating. But more than that, it's just simply the cost per year. There is a way to calculate how many dollars it takes to heat your house with geothermal or fuel oil or propane or natural gas. We know how many BTUs is in a gallon of fuel oil, propane, cubic foot of natural gas. If we know the efficiency of the appliance and the cost per gallon or cubic foot and know the efficiency of the appliance, we just come up with the national standard for comparison, and that's cost per million BTUs. On your screen, it shows in descending order the most expensive fuels, where you'll see propane and fuel oil at about the same cost, and natural gas and electricity now at about the same cost, and geothermal trailing far behind. We're going to update this part of our commercial here on a monthly basis so you can keep track of what the geothermal costs are and the comparison, but the main thing is the tremendous savings. Of course, not just wood burning. One of the things we pride ourselves on, we don't think you're going to find a store in a 5-state area that has the product lines that we do. From wood stoves to gas stoves, supplemental, central heating, and of course geothermal heat pumps. Whatever it is that you need, whatever heating project that you have, be it a whole house system or just a part of your house, we have a stove, a fireplace, a heater, a furnace, whatever it might be to fix you up. We appreciate the opportunity to meet you. You can give us a call at 635-3766 or 1-800-435-3766, or stop in and see us. You can also visit us on the web at www.firefix.com. Thanks a lot for joining us.